We will start in a seat, so feel free to prop up the hips. If you have any knee discomfort, you can always lift the hips so they're in line with the knees. That will take some of that pain out or discomfort. Let the palms face down on top of the knees or the thighs. Closing the eyes. Let the shoulders relax down and back. Finding that your head is in line with your sit bones. Finding that tall seat. And starting to tune into how you feel. Welcome yourself to the present moment. Notice how your breath feels. Is there anything lingering from the day, from the week, or the weekend? Imagine you can turn the volume down on the thoughts, on anything you're bringing to the moment. All you need is yourself and your breath, and the help of some props. Trying to slow the breath down and even it out. We call that samavitri breath, equal breath. Trying to find that balance. And that's one of the qualities of asteya, is balance. The give and take. So mimicking that in the breath. Sometimes it helps to count the 4 or 5 on the inhale and repeating that on the exhale. But if that's, again, too much to think about, just following the inhale and the exhale, in and out, that ebb and flow. And hopefully that number gets larger the more you lengthen the breath and the more that you relax throughout the practice. And if your attention goes astray, gently guiding it back to the breath. And there's no judgment or criticism. Mindfulness is a practice. It's like a muscle, something you can strengthen. We're going to add a mudra to the centering by turning the palms up, maybe lifting them in line with the navel. And we're gently having the elbows by the side. We're not squeezing the sides of our bodies. Your elbows are relaxed and our hands are just facing up. The gesture of open hands, we're cultivating that non-stealing or asteya. And as you breathe, notice how there's that subtle movement with the body. I apologize, I'm laughing because my cat is very loud in the background. And that's the opportunity to practice that mindfulness or pratyahara, that withdrawal from the senses. Trying to tune out what is happening. Trying to focus. So noticing that subtle movement with the breath. Maybe the hands move ever so slightly. We're not moving them ourselves. They're moving with our breath. Our body is moving with our breath. This cultivates that balance, giving and receiving in all of our life and our activities. Developing or deepening a sensitivity to the presence of that energy around us and that energy that we give and take. We want to practice through the lens of Asteya today. So setting that as your intention today and going with the flow. My cat almost knocked over my laptop. Still holding this mudra, focusing on our breath. Setting the intention to practice with non-stealing. We'll go deeper into that. And taking a few more breaths. And we'll start our practice with a shared breath. Take a deep inhale in through the nose, maybe the deepest breath you've taken today. Fill the lungs all the way into the chest, into the collarbones, into the head. Hold for just a second. And exhale through the mouth, completely empty. Slowly open the eyes, coming back to that space. We'll set up for our first posture. You will set up your cushion against one or two blocks. You can decide the angle of that support. You're going to recline back as you bring yourself into a reclining tree. So tree pose. So here we're opening through the chest and the heart. We're going to extend, let's start with our left leg long and our right leg bent. So you're kind of in a tree pose. And you can take another block or blanket underneath that right knee to hold that in place. And this can be, if you do tree with the foot down by the ankle, that is totally fine. If you have it more below the knee or above the knee, whatever is comfortable in a position that you can hold the shape. You can have the arms alongside of you. If your elbow is just hanging there, you can either lower the height of that support or rest something underneath the arms. So there's no effort, no discomfort here. You can even cover the eyes. Trying to find that balance in the upper body, in the arms. Let the shoulders relax down and wrap around. Let the jaw soften, separate the teeth, the tongue from the top of the mouth. Maybe taking a few sighs to sink and settle in deeper. There's nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. And when you hear my chimes, that is when we will switch sides or switch shapes, knowing that you don't need to jump up. Just let me guide you out, and we want to move mindfully in between the shapes so we don't lose what we are cultivating in a restorative class. Again, asteya means non-stealing and refers to that balance of giving and receiving with all of our interactions and activities. It involves fairness in our material exchanges, an activity as simple as buying an article of clothing, involving awareness because goods produced in ways that violate fair exchange may cause kind of a heavy karmic presence or price tag. And asteya is also important within our personal relationships in our communities, as it is practiced by cultivating balance, giving, receiving in material goods, affection, and energy. And our footprint on the planet, reminding us to use natural resources consciously in order to maintain global balance and harmony. And is that recognition of value of life we have received by using all of our talents and possibilities for our own good, for our families and communities, for awakening to our life's deeper meaning. It's to remind us that we have all that we need, and we should act from a place of abundance instead of scarcity. And incorporating that into a yoga practice, we can release that fear that we are not enough, or we don't have enough. We can see this in the world right now with the kind of the hoarding of things in the reaction to fear. It's not just the stealing of things. You can help that right knee back to center, extend that leg long, and switching sides, bending the left knee, bringing that foot into tree, and taking whatever you use as a prop underneath that knee. Again, trying to find that balance between the sides, that symmetry. Restorative yoga, we can also let go of what is not serving us energetically, mentally, emotionally. And at the deepest level, asteya means abandoning the very intent or desire to possess or steal anything. Whether it is material, talent, relationship, a gift, achievement, success, time, or natural resources that does not belong to you through force or deceit, by deeds, words, or thoughts. This urge to act in this way arises out of greed, a sense of lack, powerlessness, and comparing ourselves to others, and fear and trying to have that sense of control. Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. That is the truest spirit of asteya. Keeping that left knee bent and keeping that support that was underneath it, now bring the right foot in to meet the left foot, coming into now a supported butterfly. You can take a second support or blanket or block underneath that knee, again finding that balance between the sides. Letting them relax and open up. And your hands relax again. And gently guiding your attention back to the breath. Feel free to extend the legs long, bringing the knees in together first, extending them long. You're going to bend the knees, plant the feet, and just help yourself roll to one side. We're going to keep that support there. You can take what you're using for the knees in between the legs. You can start on either side. You're going to spin towards that support. Again, you can lower it or raise it to what feels comfortable. You're going to come into this upper body twist. You can either keep the knees more stacked with that padding in between, or bring the legs further apart. The further apart they are, the more of a stretch you'll get on the top leg, in the glute and the thigh. Spinning towards that support, one hand on each side. Taking your time to adjust. You can, on your exhale, lower yourself down, and your gaze can be the way your knees are facing, or you can take an extra twist and spin the opposite way. Hands can be palm down for grounding, palms up for a little bit more energizing. And just making sure your whole torso is resting on that support so you can feel your breath move into other parts of the body, maybe the back of the heart, the side of the body. If you have space underneath, maybe you wrap your arms around, kind of giving that bolster a hug, feeling that open up the back of the upper back in between the shoulder blades. And again, you can adjust this top leg to what feels best. Allow yourself to get heavier and heavier into that support. And we start rejoicing in not only what we have, but also what others have. When we start putting attention into feeling happy instead of feeling envious, jealous, greedy, desirous of things that others have, then these things will hardly matter to us. The whole world starts to belong to us. The sense of contentment, or in Sanskrit, they call that santosha, and togetherness forms. You realize that everything you need lies within you. And we start to stop searching for things outside of ourselves. Know that where you are right now, in the shape, on your mat, in your home, with this breath, is exactly where you need to be. Slowly pressing yourself up from that twist, turning your gaze first if it was away from the knee, and taking again your time to transition, maybe taking a breath once you sit up, spinning to the other side, bringing your props with you, and again trying to find that balance, trying to repeat what you did on the first side if it feels okay to do so. Spin towards that support, taking a breath here, and then on your exhale, release down, doing what feels best for the neck. And what feels right energetically for the hands. Asteya requires that perfect balance that comes out of correct understanding and is restraining from making ourselves smaller or bigger than we are, or from trying to be something we are not, or hiding from our true selves. We want to gather all the or we want to gather all the resources we need to support our particular service in the world, no more or no less. And we are asked to walk a fine line between stealing from others and stealing from ourselves. And if we deny ourselves the resources we need to reach our full potential, we are stealing from ourselves. We want to live in gratitude with what we have been given, and gratitude for the time that we give ourselves on the mat to practice and being okay with where we're at. Keep that balanced breath going. Follow that ebb and flow, lengthening the inhalation and the exhalation. Imagine you can direct that breath into the solar plexus above the navel, below the breastbone. That rhythmic movement of the diaphragm. We can attune to our energetic being, that we are able to see beyond limitations of our personality with its likes, dislikes, and perceived needs, supporting us in cultivating this balance of giving and receiving. So kind of tune into that pulse of the breath, that subtle movement of the body with the breath. Maybe you can feel your pulse somewhere in the body. Maybe in this twist you can feel it. Maybe feel the breath move to other areas. Slowly pressing yourself up, and again, take your time. We'll come to face away from the bolster, but we're not going to recline back. We're going to come into a very gentle forward fold. You can take your blanket and roll it up so it's underneath the knees, keeping the knees bent and legs are relaxed. Toes can be kind of where they fall. And you can take that bolster behind you and have that over the legs. You want to make sure the skin is away from the sit bones and your pelvis is tilting a little bit more forward, just so you have that space to fold forward to find a forward fold here. Feel free to prop anything so your head can rest, forehead down or to the gaze to the side. Legs should be relaxed here, less stress out of the hamstrings, maybe feeling more of a stretch in the low back, and arms relaxed. Kind of tuning everything out here. Notice where you're gripping and holding. Let the props do the work. Let the ground do the work. There's a quote by BKS Iyengar, very famous yoga teacher. He says, being without desire, he effortlessly attracts what is precious, materially and figuratively, including the gem of all the jewels and virtues. So being without wishing, I wish I had those looks or that voice or that car or that power or that money. Even wishing those things is a way to kind of steal away from yourself. Slowly rising up from that fold. You can take the props off of the legs and underneath. We're going to put the bolster back on that incline, and you can decide the degree of that. We're going to spin towards that and recline to our backs, but we want to be close enough to the bolster. So taking time to set this up. We're going to come into kind of a supported cow leg pose. So cow leg sitting, is crossing the legs so the knees stack. We can do this on our bolster. So you're going to first cross the left leg over the bolster and then cross the right over the left so the legs are crossed. If this is not comfortable, you can extend the bottom leg long and just have one leg crossed over. If that is not comfortable, you may keep the legs up the whole time, kind of coming into a supported, I like to call it lazy bones. This is kind of a supported boat pose in a way. So again, the options are first having the left leg on the bottom, right leg crosses over, double crossed, nice gentle opening in the sides of the legs and the hips. You can extend the left leg long up the bolster, foot is relaxed, and just the right leg crosses over. The right foot may hang, that is okay. This should be comfortable. And or both legs up. And arms can rest on you so you can focus on the breath or out to the side. You can have anything underneath the head or the shoulders. Making this your practice, what is comfortable to you. Another quote that I'm not sure who said it is the best things in life are often waiting for you at the exit ramp of your comfort zone. When we remain in our comfort zone, we steal away our own possibilities to enjoy the best things in life. We restrict our own potentials, progress, and growth into the world of undiscovered possibilities. When we practice this asteya, the abilities in us can dawn. And I like that because it's like that bright light that we can ignite in us. When we engage in the joy and challenge of building ourselves, we automatically serve the world rather than steal from it. And if you haven't already, switching sides. So unwrapping the legs, setting up in the same way that you did before. And if you had your legs straight, feel free to stay there. Feel free to uncross the legs if you have them crossed. And it is yogi's choice to stay on your back with the legs, both legs just straight up, or taking that down and just having the legs across the bolster underneath the knees. Again, finding what is comfortable and calling to you today. Coming into Shavasana, taking in your practice. feeling balanced on both sides. Reflecting and looking at where you hoard or have greed, and remind yourself of the non-material richness of your life. Asteya engages us with the perfectly imperfect reality of the moment. And it can help you explore the small ways you withhold care and respect from yourself, creating and cultivating a deeper and more honest relationship with the life that no one can take away from you. The sun never says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look, what happens with a love like that? It lights the whole world. Slowly start to come back to the space, to your body, to your breath, bringing movement back into your fingers and toes. Reaching the arms up and overhead, finding a full body stretch. And bringing the knees in towards the chest, rolling to your right side. Pausing here to notice any shifts, any changes in the body or the breath or the mind. Noting how your practice may have changed you in a way. Having a greater sense of balance, sense of calm and peace. May you practice Asteya in a way that it illuminates your inner world so much that your generosity naturally overflows into the rest of your life and the people around you. Hopefully we ignited that this evening. And slowly pressing yourself up to a seat. Closing your eyes and just noting your breath, noticing how it feels. Giving yourself gratitude again for giving yourself time to practice, taking care of yourself. Bringing the hands together at heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll seal our practice with a shared breath. Deep inhale in and out. Thank you for practicing with me in Metro Yoga. From my heart to yours. Namaste.